Okay, I'd like to bring on the speaker for the next track, QOB2-2-2. So we have Mr. Maikashis Ramathandran from Singapore, who will actually speak on risk management evolution for business and operations. So please.
Thank you, Mr. Arik. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today I will present the topic risk management evolution on the business and operations. I represent a company called Wärtsilä Corporation. It is headquartered in Finland and has worldwide operations. It's a multinational company. We are making diesel and gas engines and selling it to power plants and ships and related industries, and services is one of the biggest, after sales and service is one of the biggest strength in Wärtsilä. I'll cover up the risk management more from the business dimension and the operation dimensions on these 5 areas. Short coverage on the process, then an assessment, then on the reporting, and then ERM, enterprise risk management, which is becoming more and more important in today's scenario. We all want to take risks. It's very important that risks actually brings in sometimes opportunities and also benefits. The cost of risk should be balanced with the profits and the benefits which we are gaining. So that is what is most important for us. So we want to have and take risks, but identified and with good controls. Risk, maybe all of you may be aware, it is analyzing about what is the uncertainty, how uncertainty is, why does it matter, and how much does it matter. It's very important to understand also how much it matters to us. In traditional days, risk management used to be a group of people, 3 to 5 people in the company, analyzing and doing the identification and carrying out the whole process. In the recent years, in the last decade, that transformation has happened by moving away from this smaller group of people towards engagement of more stakeholders, engaging different levels of organization, and also everyone's involvement into the risk management process. So people and engagement becomes more value added in this process than the earlier approach, which was more known to few experts. So we are moving away from expert group towards more engaged organizations. Also, ISO 31000 gives the framework for risk management principles and processes. So this is coming out from that. So as you see here, the process covers the steps in the process, and the framework is about who and what the organization would do, and this would be the principle for it. Instead of running through this, I would make it more practical and useful for how it would be applied into an organization. In an organization perspective, we can think the risk management into 4 steps. First is the risk identification. Second is the risk analysis, which would include qualitative and quantitative. Then we need to know the risk response planning, and then we do the risk monitoring and control. Risk identification, normally risk approach needs a question approach. That's more important for us. Always challenge and ask questions, and the type of questions varies through the stages of the risk management process. During the risk identification, you try to use the open questions. Open questions would bring areas that needs to be considered. During the assessment phase, use the probing and hypothetical questions so that we give more details on that so that it could be planned better. And then during risk response development, we need reflective and closed questions, because that would then bring us more towards actionable things. In another dimension, if you think about risk identification, this is talking about the areas where the risk could occur. That is classified into 4 groups: strategic risks, operational risks, compliance and hazard risks, and financial risks. So each of these areas would have different parameters for it, and the stakeholders which needs to be involved in would also be different. So by opening up this type of framework, it helps to open up and engage different functions and parts of the organization. Once we have identified the risk, we move to the evaluation criteria. For the evaluation criteria, we use 4 parameters, mainly severity, likelihood, risk management level, and duration. Duration, we mainly use it only for strategic risks, which are long-term, 5 years, 10 years, it would be having the effect of it, whereas the other ones are used for all the types of risks. Based upon the influence and the impact which will create, there gets a scoring for it as well. Once we identify the risk and understand also the severity and the likelihood, then we map it up using a severity percentage and a likelihood percentage, which we then put it with financial or tangible things. There we use a value which would then impact depending upon the size of the organization, depending upon the impact of the risk. So this can go from a small organization to a medium organization to a big multinational organization. It can be scaled and worked upon. Based upon that, we then map it and arrive it at a risk assessment tool. So this is a type of tool which we use in our organization. Similar to the concept which we have, all the concepts are then put into a form of a template and a tool which would then be adopted. This is useful when you spread it around in different businesses, different organizations, different countries. You need a commonality approach. So this would help in bringing that commonality approach as well. Once we have identified the risks and put it into the tool and have a list of risks available, we then develop a risk radar. The top risks are then mapped into a risk radar. Around 10 risks from each of the streams are then mapped into, and the ones which are on the lower risk category goes outside, and the more the risk is, the more it is coming closer to the middle. And this can also continue since we do risk management not one time, it needs to continue further. Your risks, some new risks may come, some risks may decrease, some risks may increase. So that sort of approach also we could adopt in the risk radar. Once we have an understanding of the risks, we also can plan a risk response. The different types of risk responses available are avoid. You can avoid the risk. That means it can be upfront looked at and handled, which is very less in most of the cases. We can do a transfer of the risk, which is given to a third party, to an external agency. We transfer that risk and they are then impacted with that. They support us in solving that. Third one is the very important one, which is mitigation, because we know most of the risks in the organization and we are the ones who need to take care of that. So mitigation is one of the key aspects which we need to look into. And then the last one, accept. That is where the balance comes in. If the risks, we do nothing, if the impact is so low, we leave it more on the accept. Once we have this risk analysis done, we need to adopt some sort of measures which we need to do, and that is done in the organization by means of reactive modes, which is business continuity planning, risk reporting, insurances, which we do. Protective modes, which are more the management systems, environmental system, financial reporting. This is more or less always existing as part of the legal company. Then comes the preventive mode. Effectiveness of it is a question mark in many of the organizations. We need to have quality audit, supplier audit. How do we do those? Policies and documentation. We need to have a proactive approach. This is most of the cases missing in many companies. There, this study mainly focuses on the risk mapping, enterprise risk assessment, and policies and guidelines. Why do we do risk mitigation? Risk mitigation is to reduce the negative outcome, which would then influence to increase the positive outcome. So if we reduce the negative outcome, we increase the positive outcome from it. And how do we do that? By doing a proper analysis and then checking out the loss gain comparing the business objectives. When the risks are not mitigated, the risks then create worst case scenarios for us. If the risks are mitigated, then they move in as opportunities. So the balance, where it goes up or down, depends upon how good we have the mitigation plans in place. In the earlier scenarios, risk management was part of expert organization somewhere outside, but nowadays it's getting more into the structure and framework as other management system: quality, safety, risk, HR, people, performance management, and governance. So it's becoming more and more important, more and more relevant in the business setups. Reporting is very important, not just analyze and keep it there. It also needs to be collected in the unit level, and in many cases the units would then support and solve some of the issues. Then it would go to the business level, where some of the key ones get lifted up and they approach that, and then the ones which are very serious and having a high influence on the management level goes off to the executive board. This is done 1 to 2 times per year. This is also done 1 to 2 times per year. This is done once per year normally in a company. So as we look at enterprise risk management is one of the critical aspects which is developing and evolving in all businesses and operations. Why is it coming up more important? Greater uncertainty. Uncertainties are becoming very dynamic world. Uncertainties are coming in every time. So we need to have a good approach for that. Then comes up the board pressure, sometimes the regulators, external agencies, and then the new technologies which are always evolving. So these brings in our approach. What do we need for that to have an effective risk management enterprise? Buy-in from the top, good support is needed from the top. You need to keep it always fresh, meaning that 1 or 2 times per year when you do it, it needs to come up with new terminologies and correct elements there. Get the right champion. Leadership is very important here. Need to have experts who are driving this, but we need the engagement from the organization. And we need to learn from others. It's very important that sharing of this across the organization and also from external benchmarking is important to get it. So as I see it, instead of 4 experts doing this work, it now becomes a commitment from the organization, a responsibility of each and every individual who is a leader in the organization, honest communication, recognizing the value, evaluating the risk and enterprise integration, integrating inside the enterprise, which will bring us to success. Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ramachandran. We'll open up the floor for questions.
Okay, I'm not only from Hong Kong. You see, leadership is very important, and we must find the right champion. Will you please share which one or which post is more suitable for us a champion?
It depends upon, since it is varied over in businesses and also in different countries, different levels of organization persons lead the champion. For instance, in a country, the managing director of the country could lead this championship. In a business level, the business director could be leading that. In a function level, the function director could be leading that. So it's a joint effort which we need to understand. And also, if you would have seen on the identification criteria, there were 4 elements: strategic element, financial element, operational element, and that type of health and safety element. So compliance elements, when they come in, experts on that could be the champion. So we need the experts who are available in those areas and also the leadership champions. Combinedly, we should evolve this enterprise.
I would like to share the Hong Kong case in MTR. They have the senior manager for risk management as the coordinator. However, the position will rotate every year. So the continuity have the problem.
Correct.
So recently our Hong Kong MTR have many issues. So is it the champion for a longer period of time to lead?
Exactly. So that it's not about a position which is being linked, wherein a person gets changing. It's the expertise which is important. So it's more, maybe the same person would move to a different function, but he could still support this as the champion. It's an evolving field. It needs more engagement from different sources. So you're very correct in that. It's not just a role. That's why I said risk manager is not enough as a name to run this. It's more the enterprise. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Very good.
Could I have one last question for Mr. Ramachandran? from the floor.
Yes.
Yes, please.
The risk that you cover mostly on the environment security, is there any specific risk assessment for quality?
Yes. It consists in the operation. So if you would see here, the ones which you see here on the operations, compliance and hazard risk covers, operational risk covers. So quality is coming in here, quality is coming in here. It can also come in into these two when you think about reworks and impacting that, and also on the long term we need strategic guidance. But mainly it comes in here, operational risk. We need to tie the quality, not sitting separately, but more tied with organization. Quality, environment, health, safety is part of the operation and also compliance and hazard. So as quality professionals, we may be supporting this in the organization more, but operations needs to guide and support it in each of the streams which they are responsible for. So it's together we build it.
Okay, with that, I'd like to thank Mr. Ramachandran for presenting the paper.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm sorry, can I check, do we have a Mr. Chu Jipeng in the room?